Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Lanita, Scrappy Grandma, and this is our Torah Portion readings. I've had some struggles over the past couple of weeks getting my Torah portions recorded. I skipped a week when we were in Los Angeles, and then I've recorded the other ones, but for some of them a few times. And for some reason, they're not getting uploaded. Either it's corrupted or it stopped filming. It's been one thing after another. So I'm just going to continue on. I wondered for a while, Father, am I doing something wrong? Am I speaking incorrectly? Am I trying to teach? I don't want to teach. I just want to kind of like bring up questions I have or share what I've learned. But I'm definitely not a teacher since I'm learning all of this myself. And please don't ever take my word for anything that you hear me say. Go and research it yourself, because I am just learning myself. So, but I love sharing my passion for the word. I asked the Father for passion for his word, and he gave it to me. I asked him to, give me a hunger and a thirst for his word, and he did. So I want to share that with others. So that's what we're doing. I'm just going to pick up where we've left off, and things got a little bit goofy the past couple of weeks with Shavuot and Naso, 35, week 35. So we're kind of a little bit off, but I'm off anyway because I haven't done the last 4 weeks. So we are starting, and no idea how to pronounce this. Behalotcha. Bechlotaka. Bechla. Oh, blah. Oh. So, and oh, darn it, I didn't look up the meaning of it. Darn. It's not in here. Maybe it's in here. Got a lot of things here. Let's see. Maybe it's in this one. I don't know if it has them in here or not. So we're in Numbers 13. Darn. It might. It actually. Yeah. I'm not even in the right place here. Well, let me see here. I need to be in Numbers 8. I don't know how my thing got pushed over into Judges, but apologize, I'm not ready. There we go. 8. Somehow my little thing got moved. Okay, so it's 8. Numbers 8. Here we go. 8:1. Does it have it? When you set up. That's cool, because this is what I've been waiting for. It's for me, and it's fun because when we were in our Torah Portion call yesterday, Angelina, one of my sisters there that I do Bible study with, Father really shows her these incredible spiritual sides to a lot of what we're reading. And for me, I get the humanity side, which is I am picturing them where they are doing what they're doing for the first time ever. Kind of like I'm sure when we were kids and we heard about the Noah's Ark and we pictured the animals going up onto the ark and the dove flying and the whole thing. And, for a lot of the stories, we've pictured it in our heads. But a lot of these stories where they're redundant and seemingly boring, Numbers, Leviticus, but to slow down and actually go through them and picture where they're at. They're 18 months out after leaving Egypt. They have, so they've gone through a whole year cycle learning the Torah and doing the things. And now it's time. The tabernacle's complete. Everything that had been gathered by, donations from all the tribes has all been put together. It's been assigned. The duties of the Levites have been assigned who's taking care of it. It's just exciting, picture this whole thing there, where they're camped, how they protect the holy things, the tabernacle. So it's cool. So that's awesome. I'm glad to know this is in there. When you set up, that down. When you set up. So, Father Yah, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for anyone and everyone that you bring to this channel to hear your word being read. Bless their lives. Give them a passion and a hunger and thirst for your word. Give them a desire and a deep craving to dig in and chew on and taste and see that you are good, to learn about you and how you want things done. Read the instructions. Father, teach us. Shine your light. Show anything of the world that needs to be removed in us, and help us to continue to walk in being set apart for your good use, and help us to keep ourselves clean and on the narrow path. In Yahushua's holy name. Father, please deal with the technology. Your will be done. This video will get posted. I surrender it to you. I have no idea what's going on with technology and can't control it. So I surrender it up to you, my King. Your will be done. In Yahushua's mighty name. Amen. Okay, so let's get started. Numbers 8. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you ascend to trim the lamps, let the 7 lamps give light in front of the lampstand. And Aaron did so. He set up the lamps to face toward the front of the lampstand, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And this is the work of the lampstand, beaten work of gold. From its base to its blossoms, it is beaten work, according to the pattern which Yahuwah had shown Moshe. So he made the lampstand. We went over that. We went over that in one of my other recordings that didn't get uploaded. So the beauty of the menorah is it starts with one piece of gold, and then it starts getting hammered out, and all of it is hammered work, hammered from one piece, the central piece, and then all the other are hammered out. And there's so many things. 7-day creation, because seven lampstands, seven lampstands. The 7 Moedim, the 7 feasts. It's just so beautiful, and it all has its core, which was Shavuot, was the fourth, the day that light was given, menorah, light was given. Just there's so many things that tie, so many layers. It's really beautiful. So cool here. Okay, so it was beaten work of gold, its base to its blossoms, its beaten work according to the pattern which Yahuwah had shown Moshe, so he made the lampstand. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Take Levites from among the children of Israel, and you shall cleanse them, and do this to them to cleanse them. Sprinkle water of sin offering on them, and they shall shave all their bodies, and shall wash their garments, and cleanse themselves, and shall take a young bull with its grain offering. I'm going to go back up here for a second. Sprinkle water of a sin offering. Is that the water of the golden, or the red heifers? So I'm going to look up red heifer and the sin offering, water of sin offering. So, because cleanse, I know that the water The water from the red heifers is for cleansing. So I think this might be interesting. So, and they shall shave all their body and shall wash their garments and cleanse themselves, and shall take a young bull with its grain offering, a fine flour mixed with oil, while you take another young bull as a sin offering. And you shall bring the Levites before the tent of appointment, and you shall assemble all the congregation of the children of Israel. And you shall bring the Levites before Yahuwah, and the children of Israel shall lay their hands on, and the children of Israel shall lay their hands on the Levites. And Aaron shall wave the Levites before Yahuwah, a wave offering. So the whole tribe. From the children of Israel, so shall they be doing the service of Yahuwah. And the Levites shall lay their hands on the heads of the young bulls, and one shall be prepared as a sin offering, and the other as an ascending offering to Yahuwah to make atonement for the Levites. And you shall have the Levites stand before Aaron and his sons, then wave them a wave offering to Yahuwah. Thus you shall separate the Levites from among the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine. They are his. Then after that, the Levites shall go in and do the service of the tent of appointment, when you have cleansed them and waved them as a wave offering, for they are given to me. They are given ones given to me from among the children of Israel. I have taken them for myself, instead of all who open the womb, the firstborn of all the children of Israel. Now that was, once again, one of the ones that recorded that didn't get uploaded. So in the very beginning, when Yehud killed all of the Egyptian firstborn, and then it says that he took the firstborn of Israel to himself, and then it talks about how his intended purpose was for all the firstborn to serve him in the tabernacle and the holy things. But when the sin of the golden calf happened, and all of the other tribes were worshiping this golden calf, the Levites didn't, and they did not participate. They kept themselves holy, and then they were ordered to go and take their sword and off their thigh and go and kill their brothers, the other who are participating in the sin of the golden calf. And it's interesting because the golden calf, they in their minds were worshiping Yahuwah, the Elohim that just brought them out of Egypt. But while they were in Egypt for 400 years, they picked up some really bad habits, and other worshiping or believing in other Elohims as well, or they may have their own Elohim, but they picked up 400 years. That's many, many generations to lose things and learn things, kind of like we are in America. And so they believed in having Aaron build this golden calf and them worshiping this golden calf. They were believing they were worshiping Yahuwah, but they were doing it their way, not the way he instructed them to. And that's so the Levites, they killed 3,000 men that day for participating in the golden calf, worshiping of the golden calf. And that's when Yahuwah decided that instead of the firstborn, the first that opened the womb of man and animals, that instead he's going to be taking the Levites as his set apart tribe, or set apart, children. And those are going to be the ones that are set apart for service in his holy things, the tabernacle and the things, the ark, all the beautiful things in there. So it says, for all of the firstborn among the children of Israel are mine, both men and beast. On the day that I struck all the firstborn in the land of Mitzrayim, I set them apart to myself. So here, and I have taken the Levites instead of all the firstborn of the children of Israel, and I have given the Levites as a gift to Aaron. So the Levites actually were given as a gift to Aaron to help him and the high priests, the priests, serve in the tabernacle. To give unto Aaron and his sons from the children of Israel to do the service of the children of Israel in the tent of appointment, and to make atonement for the children of Israel, that there be no plague among the children of Israel when the children of Israel come near the set apart place. Thus Moshe and Aaron and all the congregation and the children of Israel did to the Levites according to all that Yahuwah had commanded Moshe concerning the Levites, so the children of Israel did to them. And the Levites cleansed themselves and washed their garments, and Aaron waved them a wave offering before Yahuwah, and Aaron made atonement for them to cleanse them. And then after that, the Levites went on to do their service in the tent of appointment before Aaron and his sons, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe concerning the Levites, so did to them. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, this applies to the Levites from 25 years old and above. Let him come into active service in the service of the tent of appointment. So interesting, because last week they took a count, and it was all of the Levites from 30 years to 50 years old. They were set apart to do the service, and they were given their, like, the Kohathites were, which is the same lineage that Aaron in the, in the tribe of Levi, he's in the priests, but their job was to take care of the holy things, the lampstand, the slaughter place, the Ark of the Covenant, all of those things. The Gershonites were another tribe of Levi. They were they were commissioned to take care of, I think it's the woven items, or no, theirs is to take care of, yes, Gershon was take care of the woven materials. So the screens and the curtains and those things. And then the clan of Merari, also a Levite. Those are the three sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari of Levi. So the clan of Merari, they were to take care of the wooden parts, the poles, the sockets, the boards, and the things of the tabernacle. So, it's cool that they've all been given, but here now it's saying that this applies for 25 years old. So this applies to the Levites from 25 years old and above, to let them come into active service in the service of the tent of appointment. So maybe they come, we were talking about this yesterday in our Bible study call, that they possibly come in as an apprentice at 25, but they go into active service. Well, it says right here, they come into active service at 25. Interesting. So I wonder why the distinguish of here's 25 and last week it was 30. It's not accidental. There's a reason. So, and at the age of 50 years, they retire from active service of the service of and serve and no more. But they shall attend with their brothers in the tent of appointment to guard the duty, but shall do no service. Thus you shall do to the Levites regarding their duties. And this is the cool thing, is so the way that all of the tribes are camped around the tent of meeting, the tent of appointment, the tabernacle, is all of the Levites are camped directly around it, and then all the other 12 tribes are camped. And it almost looks like a wheel with spokes. And they are not only commissioned to care for the items of the tabernacle, they are commissioned as warriors to protect these things with their life. They are to guard the set apart things. And so as they have it set up, invading armies, they'd have to get through, some of the other tribes first, before they could then get into the Levites that are going to defend it with their lives. And that's what they ended up not doing when the temple was sieged in 70 AD, is the Levites did not do their job there. So, okay, sorry. And there's just so much that we've missed, and it's such a beautiful working up to where we are. It's hard to keep going and not share these things that I learned in the past couple of weeks, but wasn't able to share. So anyway, 9, and let's see, we're going far too, so I probably need to hurry it up. 9, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai in the first new moon of the second year. So this is the first month of the second year. So this is like Oh, this is first new moon of the second year. So the first month of the second year. After they had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, saying, now let the children of Israel perform the Pesach at its appointed time. So perform Passover. So because it's been a year. So that's when Passover is going to be hitting. On the 14th day of the new moon, between the evenings, perform it at its appointed time, according to all the laws and right rulings, you perform it. And Moshe spoke to the children of Israel to perform the Pesach. So this is their first Passover since the miraculous Passover where they were set free. And, all the Egyptian firstborns died. So they performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the new moon between the evenings in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all that Yahuwah commanded Moshe. So the children of Israel did. But there were men who were defiled for a being of a man. They had touched a dead person, so they were unclean, so that they were not able to perform the Pesach because they were unclean on that day. So they came before Moshe and Aaron that day, and those men said to him, we are defiled from the being of a man. Why are we withheld from bringing near the offering of Yahuwah at its appointed time among the children of Israel? And Moshe said to them, wait, let me hear what Yahuwah commands concerning you. Isn't that awesome? He goes straight to the Father and it's like, what do I do with this situation, Father? And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, when any male of you or your generation is unclean for a being, meaning touching a dead person, and it's one of their family members, or I think that it's okay to touch the family members. I can't remember it. If you touch a dead body, you're unclean till evening. And if they, they had to touch a dead body, then they'd be unclean. So that says, or if they're far away on a journey, he shall still perform the Pesach of Yahuwah on the 14th day of the second new moon. So the Father made a provision to where they could perform Passover the following month if they were not able to that month. Between the evenings, they perform it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. They eat it. And they do not leave it until morning, and they do not break a bone of it. According to the laws of the Pesach, they perform it. But the man who is clean and is not on a journey and has failed to perform the Pesach, that same being shall be cut off from among his people, because he did not bring the offering of Yahuwah at its appointed time. That man bears his sin. And when a sojourner, there we are, hello, we're the sojourners. When a sojourner sojourns among you, then he shall perform the Pesach of Yahuwah. He shall do so according to the law of the Pesach and according to its right rulings. You have one law, both for the sojourner and for the native of the land. Right there. I always love when I see these confirming scriptures that we're under the same law if we choose to live in covenant. And on the day that the dwelling place was raised up, the cloud, here we go, so exciting. And on the day that the dwelling place was raised up, the cloud covered the dwelling place and the tent of witness from evening until morning, until it was, from evening until morning, it was above the dwelling place like the appearance of fire. Thus it was continually, the cloud covered it by day and the appearance of fire by night. And whenever the cloud was taken up from above the tent, after the children of Israel would depart, period. And in the place where the cloud dwelt, there the children of Israel would camp. Talk about faith. Okay, think about this. You get up every morning, you got to go. Well, actually, you've got to keep your eye on that pillar. And if it's like up it goes, it's like, it's time to break camp. It's time to tear everything down, pack it up, and get ready to move. That's just so fascinating. Talk about faith. Every day you had to go and figure out and seek out what Yahuwah, the Almighty, was doing to know what you were to do that day. And isn't that how we need to live? Thus it was continually, the cloud covered it by day and the appearance of the fire by night. And whenever the cloud was taken up, okay, I'm sorry, at the month, okay, where the cloud dwelt, the children of Israel would camp. At the month of, at the mouth of Yahuwah, the children of Israel departed, and at the command of Yahuwah, they camped. They remained camped as long as the cloud dwelt above the dwelling place, even when the cloud lingered many days above the dwelling place, and the children of Israel guarded the charge of Yahuwah and did not depart. And so it was when the cloud was above the dwelling place a few days, according to the mouth. Sorry, my eyes today. According to the mouth of Yahuwah, they camped, and according to the mouth of Yahuwah, they would depart. And so it was when the cloud dwelt only from evening until morning. When the cloud was taken up in the morning, then they departed. Whether by day or by night, whether the cloud was taken up, they departed. Whether 2 days or a new moon or a year that the cloud lingered above the dwelling place, it dwelled upon it. The children of Israel camped and did not depart. But when it was taken up, they departed. And at the mouth of Yahuwah, they camped, and at the mouth of Yahuwah, they departed. They guarded the charge of Yahuwah at the mouth of Yahuwah by the hand of Moshe. Super cool. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, make 2 silver trumpets for yourself. Make them of beaten work, and you shall use them for the gathering of the congregation, for the breaking of camp. Sounds like they're for Moses to blow. And when they blow them, both of them, all the congregation shall meet before you at the tent of appointment. So they'd blow the horn and everyone would come and figure out what's going on. And if they blow one, then the leaders and the heads of the thousands of Israel shall gather to you. And when you blow at a shout, the camps that lie on the east side shall depart. And when you blow a shout that second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall depart. And when they blow a shout for them to depart, and when the assembly is to be assembled, you blow, but do not shout. And the sons of Aaron, the priests, blow with the trumpets. And it shall be to you for a law forever throughout your generations. And when you go into battle in your land against the enemy that distresses you, then you shall shout with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahuwah your Elohim, and you shall be saved from your enemies. And in the day of your gladness, and in your appointed times, and at the beginning of a new moon. That's something I really it's been really impressing upon me, is I really want to start blowing my shofar at the new moon. You shall blow the trumpet over the ascending offerings. Of course, I don't have any ascending offerings. And over your slaughterings and over your peace offerings, and they shall be a remembrance for you, your Elohim. I am Yahuwah, your Elohim. And it came to be on the 20th day of the second new moon, in the second year, that the cloud was taken up. Okay, so here we go. The 20th day of the second month of the second year after they left Egypt, the cloud was taken up from above the dwelling place of the witness, and the children of Israel departed, setting out from the wilderness of Sinai, and the cloud dwelt on it in the wilderness of Paran. Thus they departed the first time according to the mouth of Yahuwah by the hand of Moshe. And the banner of the camp of the children of Yehudah departed first according to their divisions. This is something that a couple of Torah portions ago, they actually went through the divisions and where they camped and who went first. And so, and the banner in the camp and the children of Yehudah departed first, Judah, according to their divisions. And over their army was Nahshon, son of Abinadab, and over their army of the tribe of the children of Issachar was Nathaniel, son of Tsur, and over the army of the tribe of the children of Zebulun was Eliah, son of Helon, and the dwelling place was taken down, and the sons of Gershom and the sons of Merari departed, bearing the dwelling place. And the banner in the camp of Reuben departed. Now it's interesting because where's Kohath with the Holy of Holy things? So, and the banner in the camp of Reuben departed according to their divisions, and over their army was Elister, son of Sidur, and over the army of the tribe of children of Simeon was Shelomer, son of Tselibeh, and over the army of the tribe of the children of Gad was Elisaph, and son of Doel, and the Kehathites. Here we go. So then, interesting. So Judah went, and Issachar went, and Zebulun went, and then Gershom, which they're taking the boards and the screen, they're taking the screens and the woven things, and then Merari's taking all the wooden objects, but instead of the Kehathites, Kohath, the ones that do the Holy of the Holies, they don't go yet. And so then Reuben goes, and then Simeon goes, and then Gad goes, and then the Kehathites with the Holy of Holies. Interesting. And the Kehathites departed, bearing the set apart objects, while the dwelling place was set up before they came. Got it. That makes sense. So then 3 tribes go, then the 2 tribes carrying all the tabernacle go, then 3 more tribes go, and while they get to the place, they start setting it up. Then by the time the Kethites get there with the holy objects, the set apart objects, that's cool. And the banner of the camp of the children of Ephraim departed according to their divisions. Over the army was Elishma and Ahamadah. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Manasseh was Gamaliel, son of Pashur. And over the army of the tribe of the children of Benjamin was Abidan, son of Gibboni. Then the banner of the camp of the children of Dan. Everything's working. Green light, yay. Okay, sorry. Then the banner of the camp of the children of Dan, which formed the rear guard of all the camps, departed according to their divisions, and over their army was Eleazar, son of Ashmedadi, and over the army of the tribe of the children of Asher was Peliel, son of Okran, and over the army of the tribes of the children of Naphtali was Ahira, son of Enan. Such was the order of setting out of the children of Israel according to their divisions when they departed. And Moshe said to Hobab, son of Reuel, the Midianite, Moshe's father-in-law. So, this is cool. So, Moses had taken his wife to go live with, and children to go live with his father-in-law. And then once they left Egypt and everyone got out and they were in the wilderness, Reuben, or, they had Reuel, he's got a few different names. He brings his wife and his son, his children, to him out in the wilderness. And now it looks like, okay, the tabernacle's moving. And his father-in-law is like, okay, this is a great time for me to go back home, because he's been hanging out with them for, a year. So, but he said to them, we are setting out for the place of which Yahuwah said, I give to you. Come with us, and we shall do good to you, for Yahuwah has spoken good concerning Israel. And he replied to him, I am not going, but I am going to my own land and to my relatives. And then he said, please do not leave us, because you know how we are to camp in the wilderness, and you shall be our eyes. And it shall be when you go with us, then it shall be that whatever good Yahuwah does to us, the same we shall do to you. So it sounds like he went. So they set out from the mountain of Yahuwah on the journey of 3 days. And the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah went before them for the 3 days' journey to seek out a resting place for them. And the cloud of Yahuwah was above them by day when they went out from the camp. And it came to be whenever the ark set out that Moshe said, rise up. There we go. Rise up. Oh, Yahuwah, and let your enemies be scattered, and let those who hate you flee from before you. And when it rested, he said, return, O Yahuwah, to the countless thousands of Israel. 11. And it came to be when the people were as complainers. Here we go. Lashon hara, evil speech, selfishness. And it came to be when the people were as complainers, it was evil in the ears of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah heard it, and his displeasure burned, and the fire of Yahuwah burned among them and consumed those on the outskirts of the camp for complaining. And the people cried out to Moshe, and Moshe prayed to Yahuwah, and the fire died down. Then he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of Yahuwah had burned among them. And the mixed multitude who were with them, that would have been us, the mixed multitude who were in their midst, lusted greatly. So the children of Israel also wept again and said, who has given us meat to eat? Wait a minute. And the mixed multitude who were in their midst lusted greatly. So the children of Israel also wept again and said, who is giving us meat to eat? They've been living on manna this whole time. And okay, I get it. But I mean, how miraculous and wonderful that he's been providing their every need for over a year now. We remember the fish we ate without cost in Mitzrayim, and the cucumbers and the melons. So it's interesting. It sounds like it's the Gentiles, the mixed multitude, the sojourners that are with them, were in their midst, lusted greatly. But it says, so the children of Israel also wept again and said, okay, so the children of Israel, but it sounds like the mixed multitude might have spurred them on. We remember the fish which we ate without cost in Mitzrayim, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, and the onions, and the garlic. But now our being is dried up. There is naught to look at but this manna. So they had grown to detest the manna because that's all they had. Now the manna was like coriander seed, and its appearance like the appearance of bejulum. And the people went out and gathered it, ground it on millstones, or beat it in the mortar, and cooked it in a pot and made cakes of it. And its taste was as the taste of cakes baked with oil. And when the dew fell on the camp at night, the manna fell on it. And Moshe heard the people weeping throughout their clans, each man at his door of his tent. And the displeasure of Yahuwah burned exceedingly, and in the eyes of Moshe it was evil. So Moshe said to Yahuwah, why have you done evil to your servant? And why have I not found favor in your eyes to put the burden of all these people on me? Was it I who conceived all of these people? Was it I who brought them forth, that you should say to me, carry them in your bosom as the foster father carries a nursing child to the land which you swore to their fathers? Where am I to get meat to give all of these people? For they weep before me, saying, give us meat to eat. Am I able to bear all these people alone because the burden is too heavy for me? I'm sorry, too heavy for me, period. My punctuation sometimes. And if you are doing this to me, kill me. Please kill me. If I have found favor in your eyes, and let me not see my evil. Then Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and said, gather my 70 men, so the judges basically, which ended up becoming the Sanhedrin. So gather to me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and the officers over them, and bring them to the tent of appointment, and let them stand there with you. And I shall come down and speak with you there, and shall take of the spirit that is on you and put it on them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you, so that you do not bear it yourself alone. Cool. And say to the people, it's interesting because, I'm wondering if this is tying in. I'll have to see, because I know that Jethro, Raul, Moses' father-in-law, was the one that suggested that he take people to help him not be so burdened. So anyway, and say to the people, set yourselves apart, for tomorrow you shall eat meat. I'm going to look that up. Timeline of 70, Council of 70. Okay. Because you have wept in the hearing of Yahuwah, saying, who is giving us meat to eat? For it was well with us in Mitzrayim, and Yahuwah shall give you meat, and you shall eat. And you're going to eat not 1 day, nor 2 days, nor 5 days, nor 10, nor 20, but for a new moon, so a month of days, until it comes out of your nostrils and becomes an abomination to you, because you have rejected Yahuwah, who is among you, and have wept before him, saying, why did we come up out of Mitzrayim? And Moshe said, the people in whose midst I am are 600,000 men on foot, and you have said, I give them meat to eat for a new moon of days. Could flocks and herds be slain for them to be sufficient for them? Or could all the fish of the sea be gathered together for them to be sufficient for them? And Yahuwah said to Moshe, is the arm of Yahuwah too short? Now see whether my word meets you or not. And Moshe went out and spoke to the people the words Yahuwah, and he had gathered the 70 men of the elders of the people and placed them around the tent. And Yahuwah came down in the cloud and spoke to him, and took of the spirit of that was upon him, and placed the same upon the 70 elders. And it came to be, when the spirit rested upon them, that they prophesied, but did not continue. However, 2 men had remained in the camp, and the names of one was Eldad, and the name of the other was Madad. And the spirit rested on them. Now they were among those listed, but did not go to the tent, and they prophesied in the camp. And a young man ran and informed Moshe and said, Eldad and Madad are prophesying in the camp. And Joshua, son of Nun, Moshe's assistant from his youth, answered and said, Moshe, my master, forbid them. Then Moshe said to him, are you jealous for my sake? Oh, that all the people of Yahuwah were prophets, that Yahuwah would put his spirit upon them. Amen. And Moshe returned to the camp, both he and the elders of Israel, and the wind went forth from Yahuwah, and it brought quail from the sea, and let them fall beside the camp about a day's journey on this side, and about a day's journey on the other side, all around the camp, and about 2 cubits above the surface of the ground. And the people were up all that day and all that night and all the next day, and gathered the quail, who had least gathered 10 homers, and they spread them out for themselves all around the camp. And the meat was still between their teeth before it was chewed, and the wrath of Yahuwah burned against the people of Yahuwah, and struck the people with an exceedingly great plague. Then he called the name of the place Kibbutz Hadwatha, because there they buried the people who had lusted. From Kibbutz Hadwatha, the people set out for Hatzroth, and they were at Hatzroth. I think I might have read too far. I'm supposed to go through 12:16. Awesome. Now we're into 12. This is when Miriam ends up. Lashon hara, evil speech. What comes out of our mouth defiles us. This is where Miriam ends up with leprosy. Now Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses. I find it interesting, though, that Miriam ended up with leprosy, but why wasn't Aaron? Where was his punishment? And especially since he was a priest, there is no evil speech. The priests have to be very careful not to speak against someone. But they are his brother and sister, and so yeah, could be that. Now Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moshe because of his Cushite woman, who he had taken a Cushite woman, Reuben's daughter. Jethro's, and they said, has Yahuwah spoken only through Moshe? Now here they're getting puffed up. Has he not also spoken through us? And Yahuwah heard it. And And the men Moshe, wait a minute, did I? And Yahuwah heard it. And the man Moshe, okay, and the man Moshe was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth. And how cool that Moshe was humble in that he was raised as a prince of Egypt. And he's humble. And suddenly Yahuwah said to Moshe and Aaron and Miriam, you three come out of the tent of appointment. So the three came out. Uh-oh, Dad's mad. And Yahuwah came down in a column of cloud and stood in the door of the tent and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both went forward. And he said, hear now my words. If your prophet is of Yahuwah, I make myself known to him in a vision, and I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moshe. He is trustworthy in all my house. I speak to him with him mouth to mouth and plainly and not in riddles. And he sees the form of Yahuwah. So why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? And the displeasure of Yahuwah burned against them, and he left. And the cloud turned away from above the tent, and look, Miriam was leprous, white as snow. And Aaron turned towards Miriam, and look, a leper. And Aaron said to Moshe, oh, my master, please do not hold against us the sin in which we have done foolishly, in which we have sinned. So does that mean that he was a leper also? Wait a second. And the cloud turned away from above the tent, and look, Miriam was leprous, as white as snow. And Aaron turned towards Miriam, and look, a leper! Exclamation point. Anyway, do not hold it against us. We've done foolishness in which we have sinned. Please do not let her be as one dead when coming out of her mother's womb with his flesh half consumed. And Moshe cried out to Yahuwah, saying, O El, please heal her, please. And Yahuwah said to Moshe, if her father had but spit in her face, would she not be ashamed 7 days? So let her be shut out of the camp 7 days, and after that let her be readmitted. And Miriam was shut out of the camp 7 days, and the people did not set out until Miriam was readmitted to the camp. And afterward the people departed from Hesroth, and they camped in the wilderness of Paran. So lots of cool stuff going on there. The Haftarah is Zechariah 2:14, which I cannot find a Bible with a 2:14, so I'm going to start at 3:1 because I've checked several places and it says 2:14, but I cannot find a Bible. So I know that before a month or so ago, there was one where there's some Bibles that have different chapters, I guess. I'm reading out of the scripture. It has the restored names in it. So Zechariah 2:14, or we're going to go 3:1 through 4:7. And he showed me Yehoshua, the high priest, standing before the messenger of Yahuwah, and Satan standing at his right hand to be an adversary to him. And Yahuwah said to Satan, Yahuwah rebuke you, Satan. Yahuwah, who has chosen Yerushalayim, rebuke you. Is this not a brand plucked from the fire? And Yehoshua was dressed in filthy garments and was standing before the messenger. And he answered and spoke to those who stood before him, saying, remove the filthy garments from him. And to him he said, see, I have removed your guilt from you and shall put costly robes on you. And I said, let them put a clean turban on his head. Then they put a clean turban on his head, and they put garments on him, and the messenger of Yahuwah stood by. And the messenger of Yahuwah witnessed as Joshua, saying, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, if you walk in my ways, and if you guard my duty, then you shall also rule my house and also guard my courts, and I shall give you access among all these standing here. Now listen, Yehoshua, the high priest, you and your companions who sit before you, for you are men of symbol. For look, I am bringing forth my servant, the branch. See, the stone which I have put before Yehoshua, on one stone are 7 eyes. See, I am engraving its inscription, declares Yahuwah of hosts, and I shall remove the guilt of that land in one day. In that day, declares Yahuwah of hosts, you shall invite one another under the vine and under the fig tree. 4. And the messenger who was speaking to me came back and woke me up as a man is waking from a sleep. And he said to me, what do you see? So I said, I have looked and I see a lampstand, all of gold, with a bowl on top of it, and on the stand 7 lamps with 7 spouts to 7 lamps. And 2 olive trees are by it, and one on the right of the bowl and the other on its left. Then I responded and spoke to the messenger who was speaking to me, saying, what are these, my master? And the messenger who was speaking to me answered and said to me, do you not know what these are? And I said, no, my master. And he answered to me and said, this is the word of Yahuwah to Zerubbabel. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, says the Yahuwah of hosts. Says Yahuwah of hosts. Who are you, great mountain, before Zerubbabel, a plain? And he shall bring forth the capstone with shouts of favor to it. I'm sorry, I don't see where that ties in, but Zechariah, right? Yep, Zechariah. So, not sure. Next, might just be me. Matthew 14 through 21. There we go. And when when Yahusha came out, he saw a large crowd and was moved with compassion for them. Moved with compassion. He's always first moved with compassion, and then he healed their sick. Love that. Moved with compassion. And when evening came, his taught ones came to him saying, this is a deserted place, and the hour is already late. Dismiss the crowd so that they might go to the villages and buy food for themselves. But Yahusha said to them, they do not need to go away. Give them to eat yourselves. And they said to him, we have here only 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said, bring them here to me. And commanding the crowds to sit down on the grass, and taking 5 loaves and 2 fish, he looked up to the heavens, he blessed and he broke, and he gave the loaves to the taught ones, and the taught ones gave them to the crowds. And all ate and were satisfied, and they picked up the pieces left over, 12 baskets filled. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides the women and children. Not sure where that really fits in either, but I mean, the manna feeding the multitudes, possibly. So, well, that is the portion for this week. It's going to be posted late, and I'm going to do next week's to get ahead of it, Yah willing. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and record it today, or tomorrow. But anyway, bless you. Thank you if you stayed through the whole thing. Let me know if you're listening to these, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, whatever. Just let me know you're out there. I had a sister from the UK reach out on one of my, because I was like, I'm not sure if anybody's watching these or not. And she just reached out to let me know I'm not alone. I'm not speaking to myself. That was a real blessing. So if you listen to these, let me know. And I appreciate it very much. I'm just trying to be obedient. He asked me to read his word and record it so that other people could listen to it. So I'm being obedient. So I hope this blessed you. We'll see you next time. Bye.